Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) says establishing a standardized pay scale for healthcare workers will bridge the gap that often pushes talent from the country. The vice president of the association, Benjamin Olowo-Jebutu, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria on Wednesday in Lagos. Mr. Olowo-Jebutu noted that stabilizing the healthcare workforce through fair and equitable pay will ensure a system that is resilient, effective, and ready to serve future generations. He said healthcare is about saving lives and maintaining a sustainable system that could attract and retain the best talent. He, however, said Nigeria, like many other nations, faces persistent challenges in achieving this. He said a report by NMA showed that Nigeria has lost over 50% of its qualified doctors to foreign countries in the past decade, noting that the figure increases annually. He lamented that the trend drains human resources, weakens the healthcare system's backbone, and places immense strain on those who remain. He said without a healthcare foundation of skilled personnel, the healthcare system cannot function effectively, let alone deliver quality care to over 200 million Nigerians. We need a nationwide salary structure with a uniform-based pay that ensures healthcare workers receive equitable pay for the same work, and this should be adjusted for inflation over time, he stated. Chief Wuke, I'm sure we've had a conversation about this Japa syndrome, especially in the health sector. You know, this solutions that has been, put in place by doctors, Nigerian Medical Association. Do you think it's something that should be looked into by the federal government in order for us not to lose them, in foreign countries? Because if you notice, the best doctors we have over there are Nigerians, if we have to check it, but this has been a consistent situation. It's not just doctors that have left. There are other good professionals that have also, followed the Japa syndrome or allowed the Japa syndrome to get into them. But do you think the solutions can, make them stay back and not leave?
I think that, of course, as a professional group and an interest group, they do have a right to project their interests. But those interests should include not just salaries, they include creating enabling environments, back home for people to do their work. It seems to me that perhaps all those issues about whether or not we should have the appropriate equipment, it's not what our doctors and professionals are talking about now. They're talking about money.
Money, yes.
Now, they also forget that between the developed world and the developing world, there's a world of difference. We can't compete when it comes to how much we can provide, with the established countries. And one thing that you must take into account, whether you like it, it doesn't matter how much you create the environment, that there is mobility of labor. Labor will gravitate in the direction where it thinks it can get better wages for its services. It's normal, So it's not how much we are paying that matters. It's the human freedom of association, right to migrate, the right to worship, the right to express yourself. All those things are innate. Things that are inbuilt, and people, it doesn't matter what we do, we'll do what they. But I agree that we must find some solutions when it comes to how we want to fund our health systems, and also in doing so ensure that we much of the funds that we need at this time to ensure the provision of more infrastructure, which is expenditure within what you call capital expenditure, is not blown off by excessive increase in recurrent expenditure. Okay? Now, all these professional groups do a great job, and we must salute their dexterity. We must salute the fact that Nigerians, particularly our doctors, are proved to be one of the best in the world. And when it has been required in terms of great calamity, they have done the best they can. They did the best they could in COVID. They have done all kinds of things. They proved the point that they are competent. And proved the point that those lecturers who are teaching them in medical school are good enough anywhere. Now, and we salute that. We must salute that. But there should be a balance between cost and demand. The other day we had the labor minister say something about a 3-year review of salaries. Meaning that the system is already thinking ahead. You know, but we should be careful how much pressure we bring on the system, you know. And this, again, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what appears to be seeming unitary structures that we have in a federalist arrangement. Because all of these, what do they call it? Across the board decisions shouldn't really belong here. We're a federal Republic of Nigeria. We are not a unitary Republic of Nigeria. And injecting all the time some of these sentiments, you know, maybe in pursuit of great interests that I respect, something that I am increasingly becoming uncomfortable with. Wages cannot be paid on an equal basis by all states. And that is why some states are unable to even pay the minimum. You know, so what would they do? What would they do? Now, people must give themselves to service, and I'm happy that our doctors do so. I regret it when they withdraw their services and people have to die in hospitals because they are protesting. That in between, we should be able to find common grounds of action. The fact that also when we allow some of these increases all the time to take place, we also help to fuel inflation. And at the end of the day, we are going to blame one unknown person, Mr. Government, for allowing inflation. And some of the actions that we take help to raise inflation. And we should be talking about the value that our money can attract, what it can buy, how we can stabilize our system to make sure that the money that we earn can give us those things that we want, you know. So we don't end up printing paper money that probably has no value.
Well, in your thoughts, what do you have to say concerning the JAPA syndrome? I know I've asked you this question before. Well, are you for it? In your the response you just gave now shows you were with the doctors, but you are also criticizing them for, you know, always bringing in sentiments, or always bringing into things to the federal government, because it's something that we all have to put heads together and make sure we work it out together. Well, I want to get your thoughts concerning the JAPA syndrome that actually is still going on in the country. What do you have to say concerning that?
Look, let me respond like this. Growing up, when I was in school many years back, there used to be many Indians. There were teachers in our schools, and they came here not because they loved Nigeria. They came here because they had a gap to fill, and they had money to earn, and money to backload to their countries. Now, I don't know what those who are buying want to achieve, but I know that there's been an increase in how much is being transmitted from abroad by Nigerians in the diaspora coming back home, you know. And that's one way the system is also earning foreign exchange. Now, I've said that it doesn't matter how we say it. It means that we have become, honestly, if we were to look at the competence, quality of our instructors in the medical field, and of the kind of doctors they have produced, it means that Nigeria has become a great training ground for medical doctors.
So why do the doctors still leave Nigeria and
This is the
decide
point.
to practice?
I have answered that question, and I was also trying to set the pace for it.
Okay.
The reason is that, like it or not, there are always the Nigerians who think that life outside Nigeria is better.
Okay.
And maybe when they get there and don't find it, we hope they can trace their way back home. That because it is inborn, the aspiration to migrate, for instance, that I live for Port Harcourt, I don't know anybody in Enugu that say I want to live in Enugu and I move. It means I'm willing to take all of the risk associated with my decision. Now, which is why I'm thinking that it is not wholly true that because circumstances in our country are not good enough, that is the basic reason why people are moving. But let us accept that labor must be properly
addressed,
appreciated in terms of payments.
Okay.
And that these people think that they will earn more money. That the value, for instance, of the money they bring back home, no matter how terrible the experiences are abroad, will make them more comfortable when they get older and return home. Because some of them are out there working and they are out there bringing money home for some investments within home, meaning that they are not completely gone. But the point is, we should give credit to instructors in medical school who are grooming world-class medical doctors. And maybe because they are still here, competent people, training competent persons, will still, regardless of how many doctors leave, they will be still able to train more doctors. And I've heard and I've seen that there's increasing collaboration between Nigerian doctors abroad and those who are home. You know, some come on a mission back home to conduct complex surgeries, you know, achieve it, and then return to their bases. So I think we are not losing much. We are also gaining from the exposure abroad, you know, because they are working in environments that have become models for everyone. So they have access to all kinds of equipment, knowledge as a result of increasing research and all. I think it will be mutually beneficial.
So is it not possible for all of this to be provided in the country and retain these doctors not to leave?
Well, except you have money that you get off the shelf. Because we need to seek those monies. That's why we are borrowing. Okay? And that's why we're investing. And of course, I always argue that investments, like policies, take time to germinate. They are not things that you put on the table today and then tomorrow you have the results. It doesn't work like that. You know, so creating those appropriate environments for our professionals, including doctors, will be the best thing to do. And I'm glad that we've heard, I hope it will be sustainable, that this year, 2025, Nigeria doesn't want strikes. So if Nigeria doesn't want strikes, the Nigerian government needs to know what to do.
So what to do to put a stop
to make
to
sure
that.
that there are no strikes. It means that to understand these agreements reached with professional bodies such as the NMA must be respected.